that should, that would certainly help bolster their confidence as they move forward to the rest of this tournament. But, picks and bans getting ready to get underway. As we could see here, looks like Nidalee Sejuani going to be taken away by Inertia, and Cassiopeia Zed coming out, bans from Fang Gaming, really, banning those mids away from Astro, it would seem.
And no surprises there. It's pretty much been shown that Astro has the potential to hard carry Inertia in just about any situation. We've seen him, despite massive gold deficits, mechanically outperform a lot of comparable mid laners in the league. And of course, the one or two times that he has been able to play Zed, he's been absolutely lethal when it comes to split pushing, has provided pressure across the map regardless of the situation. So these target bans, not a surprise at all. They want to make sure that Astro is not on a comfort pick, or at least limit his impact in the game. On the opposite side, Nidalee, Sejuani, taken away from 14A. The Nidalee, no surprise whatsoever. Taking that one away from 14A, we saw just the other day, even against the Misfits, 14A was able to perform just outstandingly. 4-1, I believe, after the first dragon fight, and just an insane Nidalee player.
Yeah, he and Hard on Cloud9 Temp is definitely the big Nidalee players here in the AlphaDraft tournament. So get that one taken away. And Golden Glue as well, getting his LeBlanc banned out. No surprise there. It's one of his favorite champions to play. But he does have a few of his other favorite picks on the board. There is the Orianna, which is being hovered over. I'm not sure if that one's going to get locked in. He also does really enjoy playing Anivia, so I'll have to see if he wants to pick that one up. But we could see Hecarim's going to be the first pick for Isanari in that top lane. Not too much of a surprise. And of course, Gragas, one of the junglers that made it through the ban phase, gets it grabbed up immediately by Fang. So looking for that really aggressive, fat man in the jungle.
Well, we'll have to see exactly how well it works out for them. Of course, Isanari in the top lane on Hecarim, it's in general a power pick. Not something we've seen Isanari play too much, but pretty much lethal in the hands of any top laner, just given how much power it has in the current patch. Of course, Gragas, though, going to be able to do a lot of work with the Explosive Cask, one of the few characters in this game with this placement. I know Frosk is a big fan of the Janna Gragas as a second rotation, and it looks like a little bit of an adaptation on this coming from Fang Gaming with the Gragas and the Sivir. And Sivir, of course, was on the hunt. Going to let you at least kite that Hecarim when he doesn't have home guards, and hopefully give you some disengage and re-engage options depending on how you want to use it. But overall, some real flexibility from these picks coming in from Fang Gaming. And of course, 14A on Gragas jungle should be exciting to watch.
Yeah, I do look forward to that one. We can see the next two picks coming on for Inertia. Going to go ahead and grab up the bot lane duo, Nautilus and Kalista coming in. So good little combo. You can toss Nautilus forward with that Fate's Call and allow him to just, root people in place with his passive, as well as just lock him in with the dredge lines and the death charges. So pretty good combo coming in that regard. Really going to be a contingent on Trigger getting ahead on Kalista. Obviously, she doesn't do too well in the early laning phase, in a typical 1v1. Sivir can use that spell shield to full effect and block up a bit of the harassment that can come out from Kalista. So we'll have to see how that's going to get managed. Of course, we still have to see the support, and that could really tell how this bot lane matchup is going to go. Once Fang will go ahead and lock that in, which should be on this rotation here. I think I'm likely going to leave Golden Glue for the last pick, I would say.
And that seems to be the kind of the overall strategy for most teams with these more solo kill, hard carry style mid laners. They leave open the last pick for their mid laner. Of course, Gnar and Janna going to be the next lock-in. So we did end up seeing the Janna on this team, even more disengage options. And it looks like overall a little bit more defensive lineup coming in from Fang Gaming. Of course, the Nautilus, the Kalista, the Hecarim, they all are pretty much about those sustained team fights, those hard engage options. Kalista just does so much damage in mid to late game, and on the opposite side, it looks like we have a lot of ways to disrupt that. Janna, of course, Gragas, and then Gnar, not normally seen as a disengaged champ, but that is an option for them. Does have really good kiting potential. We'll have to see if Brandon for the win goes with the Frozen Mallet build that's been pretty popular in the AlphaDraft Challenger League. Literally gives him an ability to run down that Hecarim despite Hecarim's kind of oppressive movement speed. And on the opposite side, that looks like Kog'Maw and Maokai, the hovers over here. Well, we could see a Maokai. We may see a Maokai jungle, which would be interesting overall. Not something we've seen too much of whatsoever, and I'm wondering if they're going to swap at the last second or if they're going to stick with it. And it looks like they're going to stick with it, which means a lot of questions for this lineup as to where everyone's going to go, Maokai and Nautilus, most importantly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've seen it here at AlphaDraft, but just in the challenger scene, we do see every now and then Maokai on support. He's really good for lockdown with the Twisted Advance, has decent sustain with his Sap Magic passive, so he can stick around for a while. So may see that one. I feel like the jungle is a bit more likely, just because throwing Nautilus into the face of your enemies, I feel is a little bit more utility friendly. But we will see, Astro picking up the Cogmaw. So likely going to be that AP in the mid lane. So last pick looks like Golden Glue has a little bit of thought to give to this last pick.
And it's a tough lane to go into for sure. He needs to pick something that can either kill the Kog'Maw early or outscale the Kog'Maw, and it's a kind of a difficult thing to achieve. It looks like he's going to go for the Orianna here, as he dislikes it. And this is kind of just overall the safe laning choice. Orianna going to give him solid laning pressure. Not amazing wave clear in the early game, but it will scale very well into the late game. And then, of course, the team fighting ult in the form of that shock wave, just going to have a lot more impact if they can land it on the side of Fang Gaming. On the opposite side, Astro going to have a safe lane, going to have kind of that power trough when he itemizes the tier, but the second he gets any major damage item, the living artillery from Kog'Maw is just so difficult to deal with. The one downside I will say, though, they don't have any disengage options for the Kog'Maw, only really hard engage options on their side. So if Kog'Maw's ever caught out of position, On the Hunt can be burned, and Kog'Maw can get taken out pretty easily from this Fang Gaming lineup.
Yeah, especially with, Brendan for the win on the Gnar. As long as he times that Mega Gnar, he's going to be able to bounce right into the back line and try to get on top of Astro or Trigger. Either or would be a pretty fantastic target for him to try to zone out. You couple that with an Orianna, Command Protect and a Shockwave, and that's 2 carries dead off the bat. So really going to be protect the carries heavy here for Inertia. We're going to have to see if they're able to pull that one off, or if, Fang Gaming is going to be able to tear through their ranks. So we will find out what is going to happen when we get onto the Rift. Before we do, I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor, AlphaDraft. If you haven't already, you should go over to alphadraft.com. Draft your own fantasy league. You can win some money for it. Of course, we have, there's for the LCS as well as the AlphaDraft Challenger League here. You can go ahead and draft your own team for that. But we'll be right back when we get onto the Rift with our first game of the night. It's Inertia versus Fang Gaming. Don't go.
Welcome to AlphaDraft, where esports fans win cash and prizes for drafting top fantasy teams. Your mission is this. Every week, draft your dream team from the LCS pros in that week's matchups. You'll receive a $50,000 salary cap to select your team. Teams have 6 players, a top, jungle, mid, ADC, support, and a flex position which can be filled by any player. You will also choose the team that you think will play best. Players are scored based on kills, deaths, assists, and CS, and teams win points for Dragon, Baron, and Turret kills. Every week, choose from both free and paid contests that will give away thousands of dollars in cash and prizes. Once games start, watch directly from AlphaDraft and see your stats update live. Most contests have many winners, so check back often to see how you match up against other LCS fans. Good luck, and remember, knowledge is money. Be Alpha.
time it seems I'd rather see you in my dreams. And every chance to dance I'll take if I can't see you again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the AlphaDraft Challenger League. My name is Achilleos. With me is Sifa, and we are here with our first game of the night. On the blue side, it's Inertia Gaming in the top lane. Isunari on Hecarim, Lord of the Pit in the jungle with the Maokai, Astro in mid with the AP Kog'Maw, Trigger and Mimer round out the bot side with the Callista and Nautilus duo.
And a little bit of trading in the mid lane, but of course it's going to be Fang Gaming on the red side. It's Brandon for the win in the top lane on that Gnar. He too eager to trade in the early game. 14A on that Gragas jungle. Golden Glue with the mid lane Orianna, and then Latman and Bonquiche, also known as Baby Zeus, with the Sivir Janna combo. And it already looks like we have defensive starts coming out from both sides. The standard 5-point, a little bit of a interesting interpretation here, as you see the Janna has warded a bit deeper. Looks like they want to avoid the level 2 gank from Maokai, so it appears that's what those wards are for. And trying to make sure the lane is safe.
Oh yeah, Latman though, and Bonquiche playing pretty far forward, getting a couple autos in on Trigger, but he is quite safe. hovering underneath of his tower, so...
Now, one thing I want to go over is this kind of Maokai jungle for Lord of the Pit. Now, Maokai and Gragas are somewhat comparable in what they do. Obviously, they both have reasonably good early game pressure. They both have max health scaling damage on each of their Ws respectively. Of course, Maokai with the Twisted Advance. And they both have reasonable clear speed. The one advantage Lord of the Pit is going to have is obviously his teamfight utility is a little bit stronger when it comes to non-initiation situations, just with the ultimate there. And of course, early game, just a much more reliable way to lock people down with that Twisted Advance. So we'll have to see if he uses that early on and where he's going to turn his attention, because obviously Flash isn't going to save you if a Maokai comes to your lane. He is going to be on top of you in either way.
So we did see Trigger and Memer actually go and take the little Krug off the map. Bonkish and Lemon came a little bit forward, stopping them from being able to, really try to get that big one. So they pick up a little bit of extra experience in gold, but not able to get the full effect. Go ahead right back in the lane. Memer starting with that Riptide, try to slow out and get some good harass down so Trigger can get some auto attacks off in these trades.
And of course, both bot lanes rushing for level 2, as always, which is standard in the bot lanes. Of course, the level 2 power spike going to be in favor.
Ooh.
Neither side as the dredge line hits, but the spell shield is going to block it out. So a good spell shield overall, but that Callista, probably her strongest point in the landing phase, is going to be that level 2. Depending on what she decided to take, and it looks like she will take, of course, the Rend, as well as the Sentinel, both of which are incredibly powerful for these short-term trades, especially if Memer can get in there.
Yeah, that passive on the W makes for just an insane amount of damage. I believe it's 12% of max health on level 1, and then from there it scales up to 14%, so on and so forth.
It's just kind of
pretty significant buff there.
Yeah, and it's just kind of that one-point wonder for the laning phase, and when you have such an aggressive combination, and Gragas who can kind of force these more sustained engages, it's just absolutely brutal to lane against, and you can kind of see Latman and Baby Zeus giving a lot of respect to it as they back off. They have the strength and kind of those burst skirmishes, but if they get engaged on, they could be in trouble. We do see engaged on the bottom side,
Speaking of an engage, yeah, Lord of the Pit gonna go ahead and have to flash away. Looks like 14A will be able to pick up first blood as he has that red buff slow. He's chugging out the barrel. Lord of the Pit, just one more auto attack. He goes down. First blood for Fang Gaming. That's gonna be a very scary Gragas after his first back.
And it's a tough spot to be in, of course, for the early game. Maokai came into that at such a health disadvantage, didn't really have a good opportunity to proc sap magic, and of course, with the most recent nerf to its healing.
Wow, and they're locking down Astro in the mid lane. The Ignite's gonna come across, and that's gonna tick him down. Golden Glue finding another kill. Well executed gank by 14A yet again. Helping his team pick up another kill. And this is just a really solid start for Fang across the board.
And this is exactly what Fang wanted to do. You saw in the pick ban phase, they took away the Zed, they took away the Cassio, they forced Astro onto something he may not have as much experience with. The Kog'Maw, very vulnerable early on, and if there is an early game jungler who can punish more vulnerable mid laners, it is going to be 14A. And of course, not only does he get the kill on Maokai in the jungle, but he also gets the assist on the kill for Golden Glue in the mid lane. So just providing so much pressure for his team so early on, hasn't even backed yet, still only with the Hunter's Machete.
Yeah, and he's already sitting on 1,500 gold. You see Memer going in, getting that dredge line, but taking a huge amount of damage traded back onto him. So gonna have to be a little bit more careful with these trades. Of course, Latman on the Sivir, he gets that Eye of the Storm shield from Bonkish. It's a huge increase to his AD, and those boomerang blades and ricochets really start ripping through that not-so-tanky Nautilus. We see Lord of the Pit waiting in the wings up in the top side, trying to get a gank, but he's going to get pinged out. Brandon for the win knows that this Maokai is in the area, is not going to fall into that trap.
And it's looking a little bit like they may not have as much experience with this Maokai pick. Of course, Brandon for the win still knows that Maokai's in the area. May not know he's in that bush, however. We'll have to see if Lord of the Pit wants to commit on this. But the Maokai pick overall just doesn't look as efficient in Lord of the Pit's hand. He is a master Rek'Sai. That was, of course, taken away from him. And he tends to stick towards more early game aggressive junglers or things that are powerful in the meta. Gragas, Sejuani, Rek'Sai pretty much being his pool. So the Maokai's a little bit different for him, and it's not really working out quite yet.
Yeah, and all of those picks that you just named right there, except for the Gragas, was taken away from him, but the Rek'Sai and the Sejuani completely banned out, so really just negating the opportunity for him to be able to get any of those champions. So really at a disadvantage. You said that one not quite paying off for him. We could already see 14A has the Bomby Cinder as well as the Rangers Trailblazer completed. So in a really good spot by comparison, just the Rangers Trailblazer and a Ruby Crystal coming in for Lord of the Pit, who's having just a much harder time. Latman gets grabbed up by that dredge line. They go in. Howling Gale will knock Memer up as they try to trade a little bit of damage back, but looks like that will be the bot lane of Inertia coming out a little bit ahead of, in damage in that trade.
And that was a surprisingly clever trade from Memer. He managed to win that trade despite, the creep aggro being against him. So good on him to win that one. And it's going to take a little bit more than that to win the bot lane, but it's a good showing so far, and we'll have to see if he can keep it up. Of course, mid lane, Golden Glue dominating Astro out of the lane, unfortunately for him. But of course, this is expected. He is in that power trough from the tier of the Goddess, and it's going to take him probably 20-25 minutes before he can really ramp that up completely.
Yeah, we can see that CS lead starting to stretch for Golden Glue, and even just the auto attacks, of course, Soriana with her passive, able to just rip through the HP of Astro, who is just a very squishy Cogmaw. Tier of the Goddess not even at 100 stacks. It's going to be quite some time before he hits any sort of power spike. He does have level 6, and Maokai coming in on the backside, and they might be able to make something happen here, but here comes the teleport for Brendan for the win. He might try to lock up Lord of the Pit, getting some good damage in. That's going to be Ignite coming across. One last auto attack will finish him off. Brendan for the win. Coming up with a kill.
And this is just so difficult for Lord of the Pit. He wanted to help his mid laner. He had what was absolutely an excellent gank from the sidelines, but of course, smart use of teleport for Brandon for the win. He knew that Isunari had already used his on the top side of the map, and of course, this Maokai just so vulnerable early on, doesn't get a lot of the faux tanky stats that Gragas does when he channels that W, and also just no real solid escape options without the Twisted Advance having a target, so just a misfortunate set of circumstances for Lord of the Pit, and an excellent read of the map from Frank Fang Gaming.
Yeah, really taking advantage of that kill off of the Maokai. Good rotation up from Latman and Bonquiche, netting them the first turret of the game. So Frank Fang looking pretty strong so far. Not even 9 minutes into this game, already up, nearly 3,000 gold. That's a pretty significant lead for this point. Dragon not yet become a point of contention, but likely going to be taken by Frank Fang relatively soon.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Frank Fang Gaming doesn't even honestly need the first dragon at this point. They can just kind of force down turrets. They have so much strength, and I talked earlier about how vulnerable that Kog'Maw would be against a Sivir and the On the Hunt, and that's only more true when you have a Gragas this strong, when Golden Glue is this strong as well. Going to be able to speed up his whole team with that dissonance, so it's going to be really tough for Inertia to find their way back in this game. It's obviously early on. 3k gold leads a pretty substantial lead, but only 9 minutes in, they have plenty of opportunities to get it back. But when it comes to 5v5 team fights, the advantage for Frank Fang Gaming is just massive at this point in the game.
Yeah, they do have excellent scaling, both off of Trigger and Astro. Kog'Maw, of course, one of the hardest scaling champions in the entire game. But not sure if they're going to be able to find their way to get to that point where they're able to scale. Memer getting caught out. Meanwhile, in the top lane, looks like we have a little bit of a skirmish as Brandon for the win gets that Mega Narn. He locks up Isunari with that stun into the wall. Boulder is not going to connect. Looks like he's going to be able to zip his way out. Meanwhile, Memer does get out alive. The Fate's Call being burned by Trigger to drag him to safety, but this is going to be the dragon started up. And now Memer going in, playing very far forward, but he gets taken down. Golden Glue just absolutely melting his HP bar with the dissonance. And it looks like this is going to be the first dragon of the game, going over to Frank Fang Gaming. Lord of the Pit not able to steal that one away despite having Smite available. 14A does pick that one up. And just in that much more of a strong position.
Just a huge misstep from Inertia there. Memer obviously trying to communicate with the rest of his team to go in, but because he went in a little early, because Lord of the Pit, Astro, and Trigger just weren't really in the position to back him up, he dies for no reason. Frank Fang Gaming, of course, don't hesitate whatsoever when they see the free kill.
Oh my god, on this top side, though, Isunari one auto attack away, but not going to matter. He actually gets the kill on to Brendan for the win, so a little bit of a slight reprieve coming in for the Hecarim up there, who's otherwise been getting harassed out quite a bit. So goes ahead, grabs himself a kill. That's going to help him out a lot. Maybe with that kill pickup, it could help him become impactful in these team fights that are starting to break out around the bottom side of the map.
And of course now with the Skirmisher, Saber, Cinderhulk, Enchanted, it's going to be nearly impossible for Brandon for the win to duel him in Mini-Gnar form. He does still stand a decent chance, but Hecarim will be able to get away, at least until he finishes that frozen mount. As you can see him starting to itemize, but Golden Glue.
Oh, Golden Glue getting locked up underneath the tower. The depth charge really just keeping him in there. Trigger will find that kill, and now 14A is in there. Scopes, he goes down. Lord of the Pit finding that kill. Now they're going to go ahead and throw Mimer forward. Gets out the flash from Latman. Not going to be able to find the dredge line due to the minions body blocking, but this could be a nice push in onto this tower. And maybe the first pickup for Inertia. As you can see, that will be Latman and Bonkish playing back, so very nicely played by Inertia, evening things up a little bit here.
And we talked earlier kind of about how the gold lead of this early on wouldn't matter too much because they'd have opportunities to make it back, and here's Inertia making it back instantly. Isunari, of course, with the solo kill in the top lane, a close one, but gets it nonetheless. And of course, Golden Glue overstepping his bounds, 14A, staying a little bit too long, and those little mistakes start to add up, and you can already see the gold about evened out. Advantage still probably in the favor of Fang Gaming with that dragon, but of course on the top side you're going to see this duel kind of can start to go in the favor of Isunari. Brandon for the win, just not going to be able to duel that challenging smite.
So good pickups there. Golden Glue not even able to use the shockwave before he goes down. Maybe a little bit of overconfident play stepping that close to the tower. Has to, you have to be very conscious of that lockdown that a Maokai can offer, but actually speaking of Maokai, Lord of the Pit being taken quite low in his own jungle, forced a twisted advance away, as well as burn his flash out. So major engage cooldown burnout from him. We can see 14A trying to steal away these Raptors. Don't think he's going to get them though.
And you can see Fang Gaming trying to push their advantage by moving in for deep wards, by creating picks. Didn't work out for them so well. Obviously, Lord of the Pit was able to get out, did have to burn his flash, but survived. But if you look at the vision control, you can see that pink ward placed on the bottom side of the map, those two green wards as well, giving Fang a lot of vision in what the enemy are doing. And of course, Gragas going to start to clear out some of this vision as well. It means Fang Gaming has absolute control of the bottom side of the map, and we should see them take this turret soon. Isunari, though.
Yeah, getting taken down by Brent for the win. Does have the onslaught of shadows to get him to safety. He's not going to be able to find the boulder. Confirm the kill, but this should open up Brent for the win to get a pretty solid push on that top tower that's already down to about 45%. So it should be just another objective going on to Fang Gaming. As you can see, they already picked up, just picked up that bot lane turret as well. So all of the tier 1's going to be down for Inertia. And it's going to make contesting Dragon that much harder for these guys, which is something that they need to be able to do when the next one comes up.
Definitely. It's going to be so important, especially as we move forward into the game and, of course, as those Dragon stats scale. But on the top side, Golden Glue kind of hovering around looking for a gank opportunity. Brandon for the win.
Yeah, we see Isunari going in. Brandon for the win, hopping the other way, but Astra is here, but he has no mana. The shockwave coming across from Golden Glue takes him down. Now Isunari trying to trade back a kill as best as he can. Actually, the Acathian surprise will go ahead and find that one. Golden Glue flashing over the wall. Isunari, though, he is a pretty fast pony. Looks like he's going to be able to go ahead and close the distance. Take down Golden Glue, and now Lord of the Pit finding Latman, but 14A coming around the side onto Isunari. He will take him down. Now Lord of the Pit is going to be on the run. Latman Sivir just starting to shred through him. We can see that Boomerang Blade doing oh so much damage. And he finds himself his first kill of the game. So overall, they do trade a 2 for 2. But still very heavily favored for Fang.
Fang Gaming getting that turret is, of course, courtesy of Brandon for the win's kind of superior mechanical skill in this top lane matchup. Isunari not able to duel with the Cinder Hulk is a little shocking. Should be able to win that one out, but you could see, obviously, before the engage started, didn't really have a chance to use it. Did get to use it on Golden Glue to secure that kill, obviously, on the follow-up as he returned to lane after Narc took the turret. And then, overall, a little sloppy from both sides to drop so many players there. And an interesting decision from Fang Gaming. You can see what they were going for with the pick, with Golden Glue hovering around that area, but just kind of fumbled on the execution and didn't really respect Maokai's presence in Lord of the Pit and his ability to just roam top at any time.
So at this point in the game, what do you think needs to be, what Inertia is going to turn their attention to? Should they go for tower pushes, or should they get ready to really, all-out contest this dragon that's going to be spawning in the next 25 minutes?
I don't think it's a realistic option at this point for Inertia to contest a Dragon, so what I think they should do, more likely than not, is push out this bottom wave, get it started, and then move to take top turret. Kind of try to trade that Dragon for the top turret. You will, of course, be down 2 Dragon buffs, but you will even out the gold lead for the most part, and kind of help to keep yourself in the game, at least until this Kog'Maw can really get scaling. You can see Seraph's Embrace on the way, obviously the Archangel Staff finished, and Trigger's going to have this red buff, but if Inertia try to contest this here, it's very likely that it will turn against them just because of the raw power that Fang Gaming have, as well as the 3k gold lead.
Well, both top laners do have their teleports available at the current moment. Looks like this is going to be Inertia just peeling off. Actually, the teleport in the backside for Istanari, but they're just zipping straight forward. 14A in the thick of things as Mimer is getting chunked down. Depth charge goes over onto Latman, but Astro is already being taken down so low. Trigger doing everything that he can to try to get some damage out, but he gets stunned into the wall, and he goes down. Von Kish being taken low. Istanari is able to pick up that kill, but so far, it's a 3 for 2 as he goes ahead and will die. That's going to be a double kill for Latman. The ace coming in for Fang Gaming, trading 5 for 2 in the end of that fight, and likely going to be able to pick up a couple towers off the backside of that trade.
And this is the huge disadvantage on the side of Inertia, is that they built a team very good at engaging fights. They built a team with a lot of damage, but unfortunately they have really no disengage options. They don't have a Nami with a tidal wave, they don't have a Janna, they don't have a Gragas, and as a result, when Sivir and the rest of the team rushes at you, you really have very limited options as to how to approach a team fight. And of course, when you don't have the ward coverage in the Dragon Pit area to see her start that on the hunt, it's just not going to be enough. And of course, you saw Sivir and the rest of the team collapse there. And despite, honestly, as Trigger doing a lot of damage, misstepped a little bit to get Brandon for the wins. Gnar ultimate off, slammed him right into the tip of that wall, and was just able to clear the fight out. And Inertia really hurting here.
The window of opportunities to come back into this game closing with every minute that goes on. Fang Gaming just really pushing their advantage, you know, at every angle. Now swinging that gold lead right back, you know, heavily in their favor. 2 dragons on the board, 3 towers up, and just about 6k gold for these guys. So very much looking good. We get to see Golden Glue getting ready to complete his Rabadon's Death Cop. He's just 120 gold shy of that one. It's going to be a major pickup for him. Already dishing out a good amount of damage. It's just going to exacerbate things that much more for Inertia. You see Kog'Maw doing what he can to try to hit these you know, major items. Has the Archangel Staff still stacking up that tier. Nearly has that one completed to transform into the Seraph's Embrace. Needs about 20 more stacks for that one, but Amtome in his pocket. Not sure what he wants to do with that one quite just yet. Could be seeing a Void Staff, maybe a Seeker's Arm Guard coming out for him to, you know, give him that much more protection. Time will only tell, though. You see Inertia has grouped in the mid lane. Gonna try to get in here and push down their second turret of the game. This one's barely been touched, but they have to try to contest with this immense amount of wave clear that Fang is bringing to the forefront. That's going to be 14A going in with a Righteous Glory as they get on the Astro, and he's just getting melted down. Lord of the Pit goes in, drops the Maelstrom, but Astro will fall, not able to put out enough damage. Ichinari is on the back lines, but he gets taken down by Latman. Now Bryn for the win. Here comes a major shockwave on him as he knocks him into the wall with the Gnar ultimate. That's almost a clean ace coming in already. Trigger going to have to be on the run as he tries to get away. The boulder connects. I think they're going to be able to hound him down. The Zephyr connects. That's going to be... Oh, no, the other boulder not going to hit, but that's the barrel. And the Boomerang Blade comes through for the clean ace. Fang Gaming not suffering a single loss in that fight, and they're going to push straight in here and take the inhibitor at least.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he has 20 minutes surrender here. I would like to see Inertia stick it out, try to learn from this game, but we'll have to see exactly how they want to respond. Obviously, to just the crushing gold lead, 10k now in the favor of Fang Gaming, and Inertia really could not afford to go down there. The gold lead already stacked against them, and dropping there and breaking the inhibitor line was really their last option defensively. Normally, Fang Gaming, like a lot of challenger teams, kind of struggles to break that without a few picks or without a team fight to start. And of course, because they got the team fight, because they were able to just ace, they just got to walk into the base, they got to take what they want, and walk away from that one. Inertia needs to be more patient. You can see them warding their flanks, trying to mitigate the strength of this Sivir engage, but it's not enough, unfortunately. It would have worked earlier in the game, perhaps, but now because the enemy team is so far ahead, really what they need to do is turtle as best they can, push their lanes out to stop themselves from getting too much pressure across the map, and just wait for this Kog'Maw to scale up. And if they don't do that, if they keep trying to force fights, they're going to lose just because there's too much of a gold advantage on the side of Frank Fang currently.
Yeah, and we can see that, even trying to get a pick is not an option for them. Very little ward coverage within their own jungle, which Frank Fang Gaming has just kind of been running rampant in. You can see a couple wards coming out now, but really not too much vision for these guys, whereas Frank Fang have a lot of forward wards even just around the base of Inertia. Looks like they are playing quite forward. That's going to be on the hunt. Popped. Mimir trying to get away as fast as he can, using that dredge line to go to the wall, but that's going to be 14-8 coming in. Trigger goes down to Golden Glue, picking up that kill. Latman will finish off Mimir. That's a 2 for 0 already. Latman going to be on the run. Looks like Astro. One more hit.
And a good read
coming in, though.
Just so good decision making from Frank Fang Gaming to run into that choke point and to force down some kills there. Obviously, with the power of On the Hunt, they saw Isunari in the mid lane. They knew that he wouldn't be able to respond, and really Isunari, if he had the opportunity to ult in that small and close space, would have been able to hit all 5. May have been able to disrupt the team fight and swing it in his team's favor at least a little bit. But of course, because he was in mid lane, because Frank Fang saw that, they just popped the On the Hunt, and it's easy for them to just pick up a few kills.
Yeah, so much chase for this team with the Righteous Glory and On the Hunt. They're just able to close all of those gaps, and 14A making good use of the flash body slam to really lock them down and get the damage out. Unfortunately, Astro not able to pick up that kill on the back side onto Latman. Got him down so low, but the shield game from Frank Fang Gaming between Golden Glue and Bon Quiche with the Eye of the Storm is just too strong, and they're not able to get through the brunt defense there.
And if we just look at the gold, I mean, it's so very clear that, Inertia are just losing out across the board. Every single member of the team on the side of Frank Fang Gaming is incredibly strong. Even Bon Quiche has the Medjais right now and only has 1 death to his name. So just an oppressive lead, more capitalized on by that Medjais. And, of course, even Gragas in the jungle with 78 farm is outgolding this Hecarim in the top lane because of how far ahead Frank Fang are. And really, Inertia cannot afford to make another mistake. They've made a few already this game. It's resulted in this massive gold lead. And if they drop a single member, let alone anyone else on their team, they will lose. And that's the amount of pressure that they put on themselves by making those misplays earlier in the game.
Yeah. You can see the siege getting ready to break out here. Actually, the Righteous Glory pop, 14A going straight in. That is a very tanky Gragas, but he's actually being burned down very slightly. We see Infinari trying to get in the backside. Brendan for the win, being taken out halfway, but he goes in and gets a huge Meganar ultimate into the wall, locking up 3 members. Now Astro will get taken down. That's a double kill for the Gnar, and a double kill for Latman, a triple kill for Latman. In the end there, huge plays. They just come straight in. Another clean ace, and they're going to play straight off of these super creeps in the mid side and take down the Nexus. Turret's already in their eyes. First one falling. Second one gonna follow suit. Frank Fang Gaming picking up yet another win. Unfortunate for Inertia, not able to find footing quite just yet here in the AlphaDraft Challenger League.
Inertia, of course, just fumbling a little bit there. That engage from Frank Fang was actually a little sloppy, and if Inertia had been a little less behind, or if they had spaced out a little bit more for the Gnar ultimate, they may have been able to get something back there. But just, raw gold advantage, just forced in.